I've shot over 125 weddings, and there's something I've learned. It's that preserving your images needs to be a priority. Imagine finding your grandparents' wedding album. You open it and instantly feel connected to a moment decades before you were born. Now think about this. Where will your wedding photos be in 50 years, 100 years, 10 years? On a hard drive that no one can open? Lost in the clouds somewhere? In an age where we take thousands of digital photos that rarely leave our phones, we're actually at risk of creating the most photographed yet least remembered generation of weddings. I've discovered there's a critical difference between couples who create lasting memories and those whose wedding photos essentially disappear after a few Instagram posts. But what truly matters to me is creating images that become family treasures for generations. I recently worked with a couple who followed my preservation advice. 2 years later, they told me how their parents and grandparents still regularly look through their wedding album when they visit. That album has become a centerpiece of family gatherings, creating connections that simply wouldn't happen with photos trapped on a phone or a computer. And today I'm going to show you how to ensure your wedding memories don't just exist, but actually become cherished family heirlooms that last for generations. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to preserve your wedding memories in ways that will stand the test of time and technology changes. I'll give you a simple three-part framework that ensures your wedding photos become treasured family heirlooms rather than forgotten digital files. First, I'll explain why digital-only storage is actually the riskiest way to preserve your memories. Then I'll share the three essential formats every couple should have for true preservation. Finally, I'll give you a specific product recommendations and display ideas that transform photos from files into heirlooms. Digital photos seem permanent, but they're actually incredibly vulnerable to loss. Think about it. Remember floppy disks, CDs, flash drives? Technology changes rapidly, and today's storage methods become tomorrow's outdated tech. Like in the beginning of our process, hey, how are we going to get these photos delivered? And at first, like 5 years ago, I was nervous. I was like, I'll just send you like a Google Drive link and you can download it from there. But now it's completely different. Cloud storage seems safe, but accounts get deleted. Companies go out of business and passwords get forgotten. I had a couple who lost access to their entire gallery when they changed email addresses and then couldn't recover their account. Fortunately, I was able to have it downloaded, backed up on hard drives, different servers. It's a crazy process, but they were able to get their photos. There's also what I call the engagement cliff. Most couples view their wedding photos intensely for about 3 to 6 months, then engagement drops dramatically. Without physical reminders, viewing becomes increasingly rare until years pass. Between looking at your wedding photos from today versus you looking at your wedding photos from 5 years from now, you're going to look at them a lot less. So here's the most important part. Your children and grandchildren won't scroll through your old hard drives or cloud accounts, but they will flip through an album on the coffee table. I've seen it firsthand. A couple who only kept digital files came to me 5 years later, desperate to create an album because they realized they hadn't looked at their photos in years. Meanwhile, couples who created albums and wall art engage with their memories almost daily. True preservation requires a multi-format approach. This is why I call it the heirloom triangle. First is the premium tangible heirlooms. These are your professional grade albums and boxes built with archival materials that will last for generations. Professional albums are fundamentally different from consumer photo books. They use acid-free paper, UV-resistant inks, and binding techniques designed to last over 100 years. The right album becomes more valuable over time, not less, unlike digital files. Second, it's everyday enjoyment items. These are the wall art and smaller prints you see and interact with on a daily basis. This category is crucial because memory retention requires regular engagement. When you walk past your wedding photos every day, those memories stay vivid and accessible. I recommend a mix of statement wall pieces for main living areas and smaller frames for more private spaces. Third is a smart digital backup. Despite the risk, digital preservation is still important when done correctly. This means multiple storage locations, proper file formats like TIFF or high quality JPEGs, and a migration timeline for updating your storage methods. The key is organization. Files named so they make sense years later and stored in a logical system your future self will understand. These three formats work together. Your digital backup is comprehensive but rarely seen. Your everyday items provide regular connection to the memories, and your heirloom pieces ensure generational preservation and creates moments of deeper engagement with your history. Let's talk specifics about implementing this framework. For albums, look for these key features. Full grain leather or high quality vegan alternatives provide the best longevity. Lay flat binding prevents cracking along the spine. Thick pages resist bending and damage over time. And consider the size 10 by 10, 12 by 12 albums. They have presence. That makes them family centerpieces, not just another book on the shelf. Let's talk specifics about implementing this framework. For albums, look for these key features: full grain leather or high quality vegan alternatives. They provide the best longevity. Lay flat binding prevents cracking along the spine, and thick pages resist bending and damage over time. And consider the size. 10 by 10 or 12 by 12 albums have presence. That makes them family centerpieces, not just another book on the shelf. For wall art, consider these preservation factors. Metal prints are extremely durable but can feel modern for some spaces. Traditional frame prints should use museum glass that blocks UV light to prevent fading. And location matters. Avoid direct sunlight in high humidity areas. That's going to accelerate the deterioration. For digital management, create at least 3 backups in different locations. Establish a naming convention like the year, then the event, and then the sequence. That will make sense decades later. And schedule technology migrations every 5 to 7 years so you avoid any formatting. If budget is a concern, prioritize it in this order. 1 high quality album built to last. 1 signature wall piece for daily viewing. And proper digital organization with multiple backups. Even on a limited budget, this balanced approach ensures better preservation than spending everything on a fancy digital package with no tangible components. Let's go beyond the basics to truly elevate your preservation strategy. Consider the multi-generational aspect of your photos. Include the names, dates, and even short stories with your physical albums. This context becomes invaluable as time passes and memories will naturally fade. You can also explore hybrid approaches. QR codes discreetly placed in an album can link to wedding video highlights. Digital frames that rotate images still maintain a physical presence in your home. And modern apps can enhance rather than replace physical items, providing the best of both worlds. Most importantly, consider the emotional significance of how you preserve your memories. You can create little gatherings to view your wedding photos, like maybe once on each anniversary or when you have a family gathering. Sit back, relax, and scroll through those photos and videos, or flip through the pages with your amazing, amazing spouse. These transform photos from objects into experiences, ensuring they remain meaningful across generations. You might be thinking, but professional albums are expensive. You're right. Quality preservation is an investment. But consider this: most couples spend thousands on flowers that last one day. yet hesitate on albums that last for generations. If budget is tight, start with a smaller album and upgrade it on anniversaries. We don't have room for physical photos. Well, there's space efficient solutions, and it exists for any living space. A single well chosen wall piece requires minimal space but provides daily connections to your memories. Or you can get a little 5x7 or 8x10 and just have it on your desk when you go to work. And maybe you believe everything in our lives is digital now. The psychology of memory actually worked against this trend. Studies show we remember physical photographs better than digital ones because they engage more of our senses and create stronger neural connections. Couples who understand the true value of memories don't leave their preservation to chance. If you're planning your wedding in Orlando and want photos that will become genuine family heirlooms, let's talk about creating memories that truly last. I'm offering free 30-minute discovery calls where we can discuss your vision for not just capturing, but preserving your wedding memories. Click the link in the description to schedule your call, and let's make sure your wedding photos are still bringing joy decades from now. Because the true test of wedding photography isn't how it looks on the Instagram the week after. It's how it makes your grandchildren feel 50 years from now.